Welcome to TRANSLOGIC, brought to you by Chevrolet. I'm Bradley Haselmeyer. Today we're in front of Honda's North American headquarters. We're going to be checking out the brand new CRZ. It's a car that Honda claims is the perfect balance between sport and hybrid. They've proven themselves with the S2000, and they flexed their eco muscles with the first generation Insight. We're going to be driving the CRZ as well as those two and finding out how it compares. Come on. That high rev is just really great. The fact that it redlines so high, you combine that with a short shift, and this car is just moving. And yet it's still efficient for a car that develops this kind of fun and that induces this kind of enjoyment. So you can see as they've developed that toward their CRZ, they weren't starting from scratch. Fellow S2000 driver right there.
The CRZ is actually meant to be a balanced, sporty hybrid coupe. It uses Honda's IMA, which stands for Integrated Motor Assist. So basically it has a battery pack and a small electric motor kind of sandwiched in between the engine and transmission. Gives you kind of a boost on acceleration, allows you to use a smaller gasoline engine, which saves you fuel.
With that model, it doesn't really ever drive as a pure electric.
That's correct.
Okay.
Electricity in an electric motor provides a lot of torque, and it's instantaneous torque. That instantaneous torque can help you move forward and really simulate like you have a much larger gasoline engine than you actually do without having to carry all that extra weight.
Why did you guys decide to go with nickel metal hydride instead of the traditional lithium ion?
Nickel metal hydride is something we've been using since the original first generation Insight. We know how it works, we understand the reliability of it. Lithium ion is the latest cutting edge technology that is just starting to make its way into hybrids. And in fact, on the next generation Civic, we intend to bring a lithium ion battery to that.
So now the Insight was the first hybrid for sale in North America, and I think people don't necessarily associate hybrid with Honda. What happened?
Well, so the Insight was purpose-built as almost like an exotic level, environmentally friendly car from the very beginning. Lightweight aluminum body panels. It was totally focused on high fuel economy. There was something to give up. It was 2 seats, limited cargo carrying capacity. You could only really carry 400 pounds, including passengers and cargo. So there were some compromises to be made with the vehicle. And I think some of our competitors were quicker maybe to get into larger vehicles with a larger hybrid system than we were, and it gave up some of those compromises.
So now here we are in the Honda Insight. Now, like the S2000, this car has a purpose. It's driven to one goal, and that goal is efficiency. We're talking 70 miles per gallon. And when you talk about the actual performance, I mean, the miles per gallon might be efficient and fun for those hypermilers, but there's not a whole lot that's fun about this car as far as the performance. I mean, it's really squishy on the edges. It's definitely not the most attractive thing. And you want to talk about acceleration? Yeah, there wasn't any. What's the purpose of this car then? We have the S2000 that spin around curves and have a blast sports car. And then of course the Insight, which is its, frolicking in a field of daisies. Those had very clear, distinct reasons for them being produced. Did they want to make a sporty hybrid, or were they just trying to get a car that gets good gas mileage, so they kind of threw that assist motor in there?
Well, we really did concentrate on making this a hybrid vehicle from the start. To meet the CAFE standards that we're looking into the future, to meet demand from consumers based on fuel prices anticipating rising, we needed to apply this type of fuel-saving technology to sporty cars as well.
Do you feel like government standards are realistic in this?
I think they're very aggressive. They're aimed at improving fuel economy across the entire fleet based on the size of the vehicle. It's definitely going to be a challenge to achieve, and this is kind of a toe in the water, like I said, and moving in that direction.
So this car doesn't have a back seat. Why'd you guys decide to do that for the U.S. market?
So it does have a back seat in Japan and also in Europe. But when we brought the car to the United States and did some focus groups, tried to examine what U.S. customers wanted, what they told us was that they would rather have a more useful storage space back there than, honestly, a back seat that's virtually useless to an American-sized consumer.
Right. So is it fair to say then that the CRZ is an experiment of sorts?
I guess you could say that. I mean, from a marketing perspective, it's an experiment. There is a large group of customers who want really good fuel economy in a car, but they don't want to give up that fun.
Yeah.
This is actually allowing those customers to come into a hybrid vehicle.
What we got going on in this car is a 1.5 liter four-cylinder. You would think that's a little underwhelming, and you'd be right, but combining that with the integrated motor assist, we're rounding up to 122 horses. Again, not that impressive. But what is impressive is how quick you can get off the line. It's really sharp, throttle response, really great. The shifter is totally engaging. You wouldn't think on a hybrid that it would make that much difference, but it does. One of the first things you'll notice when you get in this car is it's actually really high quality. I mean, the display itself is very visually appealing. It's all right at your fingertips. Literally, it's both on the steering wheel controls and then just beyond your fingers where they would be on the wheels. In the center of the display, there's a ring that changes colors depending on how friendly you are being to the environment. Because there's a little bit more of a pushed back cabin in this, they've balanced it well with the batteries in the back. Gives it more of a planted, solid kind of feel. However, unlike most sports cars, when you start shifting a little bit, you really feel the squishiness in the corners. It's actually a little bit of understeer, which is something that you do find in front-wheel drive cars often. So what's the deal? Honda's claiming this is the best combination of sport and hybrid. It is a good blend, and you take into factor great interior with really high quality feel, a super stylish, sexy outside, as well as the fact that you can get this anywhere from 20 to 24,000 with sat nav and everything else loaded. Is it the best balance? No. Is it the worst? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely not super sporty and it's definitely not super environmentally friendly, but it's a good blend.